Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Man, y'all know what time it is. T-Law got the eyes of Lee Van Cleef when he go in that field.
Checks it down underneath. That's a crossing route to Christian Kirk. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10. Christian Kirk to the goal line. Touchdown, Jacksonville.
They made a major mistake when they made T-Law go to the spirit of the sky, to the oracle of the saber-toothed tiger, and the saber-toothed tiger now has the scepter in his hand, and he been to put every critic to rest. Man, last night I done marinated 2 turkeys. I got my cherry wood getting ready for my smoker. Just got off from work, off Pritchard Road. I'm going to bake me 2 Cornish hens. My special recipe, I call it a Mediterranean Cornish hen. I'm going to top it off with my homemade Long Island iced tea. And I'm only going to top it off with 1 red top of Coca-Cola. The Maxwell House coffee will live on forever. Duval!
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome into Jaguars Today on what I think is the first of the best 2 back-to-back days on the sports calendar every single year that you can count on, Tony, right? Super Bowl doesn't always deliver.
Yeah.
The World Series doesn't always deliver. The NBA Finals, others might put, I think, the Masters, things like that.
Sure.
Masters Sunday is up there because that always seems to have some kind of drama, even if it's not your golfer, whatever. It doesn't matter what team you root for generally. Obviously, if your team loses, you're not going to be happy. But, the first 2 days of the NCAA men's tournament are just absolute gold.
Oh, I love it. And I especially appreciated filling my last weekend before Major League Baseball is back on the calendar.
Yeah.
My goodness. I'm looking forward to the Braves being
we
back
don't have
on
any
Thursday.
players left, so I'm not that excited,
Right,
quite
but,
honestly.
Yeah, we've all been through our seasons where it doesn't matter how good or bad the team is, you're watching it whenever you're around it. That kind of thing. I think we're both in the same kind of boat with that, and I'm looking forward to the Braves being back, but this gets me to that, right? And I'm not a big college basketball fan, but yeah, when I get home today, it'll be on until I go to bed.
Nonstop.
And tomorrow it'll be the same thing. And Saturday it'll be the same thing. And Sunday it'll be the same thing. I'm not so into it once we get past the first weekend. I'm just like, all right, whatever. It was
Unless
fun.
my bracket's doing well.
Right.
I'm with you, right? Unless I've got a team or my bracket's doing well.
Right, because there is some rooting interest because there's a bracket. Right, you're pulling for a number with a team with a 12 next to it because, I picked that 12.
Right.
Right, it gives you a rooting interest in every game that's going to be played for the next couple of days in the tournament, and you're going to get 32 of them. You don't have to be a fan of it necessarily to enjoy the drama of what happens with March Madness. It's fun.
And Dylan is doing the thing today that people say this is the time to be in Vegas.
Vegas, baby.
He's heading there today. Dylan, how much packing have you accomplished?
Man, I ain't got no thing but a G-string. That's it.
Is that all you're going
That's
with?
all I got, baby.
All right.
I ain't done
Better
nothing.
prepare yourself, Vegas.
I got all my clothes in the dryer right now, and I get home about 12:30. I'll start packing.
Is the dryer running?
No. It was done drying last night.
Oh, okay, I was going to say, because, man, you're going to come home to some clothes that are very schmedium.
No. I just got my socks, underwear, some shorts. That's about it.
Learned that lesson my first week in college, Tony. All my shirts, their sleeves shrunk 3 inches.
Yeah, see, that's when you had cotton. We don't have. I do dry fit stuff now.
Yeah, we didn't have do you throw dry fit in the dryer?
Yeah, I do.
Do you? Okay, I don't. We got to dry. I'll put them on a drying rack.
Mm-hmm.
All those golf shirts. I'm afraid of everything shrinking. I am. I just don't want it to shrink in the dryer. But anyway.
Sure, yeah.
Where are we going today? Well, we're not going anywhere. We're going to talk Jaguar football here with you coming up momentarily. But let me lay it out for you because 1010XL is all the freak over Jacksonville today. Okay, Helmets and Heels going to be live today at Hurricane Grill and Wings on Hendricks Avenue. They'll go from noon until 2. Back in the day, Tone, in this century, it was an ordeal to have more than one remote for a radio station in the same day.
Yes, it
right?
was.
Like if you're going to you can't have like a midday show and the afternoon show, like you wouldn't have enough equipment, or wouldn't have enough facilities,
or you'd be in a spot where if someone called the restaurant, you were kicked off the air.
That happened all the time, right? Amsterdam, what is it? Amsterdam Sky Cafe?
Something like that.
Is it still called that? I don't know what it's called. That place right next to the arena. That was one. The rollover line, like ring ring. We're off the air. Imagine that. But anyway, Helmets and Heels today. Hurricane Grill and Wings at Hendricks. Then immediately following XL Primetime, going to be at Twin Peaks on Atlantic Boulevard from 2 to 4 today. The Frangie Show from 4 to 6 at the Dart Bar and Games on 1251 King Street.
That's on the west side.
West Side. And then tonight, Mr. Chubby's. Also, I think this was, isn't this a West Side location?
Yes, sir.
For Mr. Chubby's?
ETN and Chafee, baby. Come on.
Crystal Springs is the official 11043 Crystal Springs. What is it? I-10 and Chafee?
Yeah, you take I-10 and Chafee, boom, right there.
Boom, right there. Dylan with a G-string be represent, or he would be representing if he wasn't on a
plane.
He'll be on a plane to Vegas today. So hopefully your bracket will be intact by the time you board the plane. We did our obligatory bracket filling out. Dylan did his Monday?
I did the stations one Monday during the show.
Okay. Did you alter it? You have multiple brackets?
I got two. I did one Sunday on ESPN, and I did one here.
Yeah, like I don't mind that. Like if you're filling out a digital one somewhere and you fill out something.
When you asked me this morning, that's what I did. I filled out one on ESPN.
Okay.
And I filled out the one for the station.
I filled out nothing on ESPN.
Yeah.
And I just did the one for the station. It's the one, like that's the only thing I donated my $10 to the cause, and I hope someone enjoys that. And we'll go through them a little bit later on today. But only once, Tony, in my life have I gotten the Final Four intact. And that was good 20 years ago now. So, but I keep throwing them out, and I keep not watching college basketball. But I did watch a lot of St. John's this year. So my team was good for a change, and they were on a lot of nationally televised games, and that was about it for me. So we'll have our very uneducated opinions on which teams are going to advance. Yeah. I feel the key doing this show is have a good Thursday of round one, and then it's fine. Because then you come on Friday, you're like, it was 12-4, man. That doesn't matter what happens. All the Friday games tip off after we're off the air. Who cares? By Monday, we're not talking about it anymore. At least this show wouldn't be, and on we go. So that's what's happening. And again, I'll try to run through some of those details. You can still get in on the 1010XL Madness Bracket Challenge. A lot of great prizes involved with that as well. If you want to get on board, you can go head over to 1010XL.com. Fill that out. Let's see here. First place, 2 tickets to Rockville. Welcome to Rockville. And a Miller Lite prize pack to go with that. Those are Saturday tickets, which are probably the ones you want for Rockville, I would imagine, right? I mean, Saturday, so it's weekend and you still have time to recuperate before you got to go back to work. Second place is a Mr. Chubby's gift card worth $100. And third place is a $50 gift card to Mr. Chubby's. Who, honestly, I mean, Mr. Chubby's doesn't pay me a penny. They don't need to. They have freaking amazing wings. They really are.
They're great, yeah.
In terms of like a wing place, I think they're the best. You know who number 2 would be for me? Hooters. I think Hooters wings are outstanding. Haven't been. Are there any Hooters left? Did they go out of business? Is that what happened, Dylan? You got
allegedly.
Update. Allegedly, like he doesn't know.
I saw a tweet that said they're filed for bankruptcy.
That's what I thought too.
That's the last I've seen.
I don't know. There may still be a few of them out there somewhere, but I always thought they had great wings. My wife would be like, "Yeah, you want to go there for the wings, huh?" Well, yeah, as a matter of fact, honey, that's exactly right. So let's see. Today, we got a question of the day out there, and it is in part prompted by what we saw Tom McManus tweet about yesterday. So it's going to be fun to have Tom in tomorrow to talk about this. But, his just speculation looking at what the team is going out there and doing in terms of signing depth on the offensive line, and added another one yesterday. And so Tom tweeted out yesterday, Jags left tackle starter isn't set in stone at this time. Maybe not even in pencil. Let's see after the draft as well what they do to bring in competition. And there were some people saying, yeah, Tommy, you're right. But there were so many people saying, are you kidding me? Not set in stone. It's the most set in stone of the entire offensive line, what have you. Look, somebody asking them, why did they extend Walker Little? Well, they didn't. James Gladstone didn't. Liam Cohen didn't. Tony Baselli didn't. Trent Baalke did. It was his pick. He extended him. We heard that yesterday, that conversation as they were talking about on Helmets and Heels about all these players they have now as options on the offensive line. And Mia said that Javon Foster, the coaching staff was like totally blindsided when Javon Foster was taken. It was a scouting pick. Like, they just decided this is a guy we're going to have, whether Doug Peterson thinks he fits in with what we're trying to do or not. You talk about being on the same page. I mean, how crazy is that, right? And to basically, like, they're like, what? They took who? I mean, I can't imagine as they talk about, just everybody being in alignment right now, that anything like that is going to happen this year. But no. You look at it right now, Javon Foster would be lucky to have a roster spot when the dust settles.
Wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't.
Right. That's a 4th-round pick, Tone. Yeah. A 4th-round pick. You can't be crapping those away like that and expect. I mean, look, not every 4th-round pick's going to hit, but can the guy have a secure roster spot in year 2 as a 4th-round pick? I would hope that would be a fairly easy bar.
You would think, yeah.
To clear. But
he didn't play at all. At least Jordan Jefferson played a little bit.
Right.
It is wild that we're already going into year 2 of Javon's career. And as far as Jacksonville goes, he may not have one. Right? Like, not a real career. We'll see what's going to wind up happening with it. But, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised with all the bodies they're adding to the offensive line room at Foster, especially at the prices they're bringing these guys in. These are not super high-priced guys. Like, it would not be hard to imagine that Javon Foster is one of the guys that gets cut.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. Especially if Cole Van Lannon resigns, right? Yeah. They tendered him at the 6th-round level. So anyway, with that in mind, we asked today, assuming they all stay healthy, which one of these presumptive starters will start the fewest games in 2025 for the Jacksonville Jaguars? Is it running back Travis Etienne? Is it center Robert Hainsey? And we know you just got here, Robert, right? But I think when you compare him, and as you and I were going through, the other 3 were the obvious ones we wanted to put in here. Maybe we should have included Anton Harrison, honestly, as much as anything. If you just look at like the PFF grades, he had worse PFF grades than all these guys last year. Now, that doesn't mean they're always 100% spot on, but we got Hainsey in the poll. We did put Walker Little in because that's the reason that kind of prompted the poll, yeah. Tom's conversation there. And we put Devin Lloyd in there as well. And so those are your choices. ETN, Hainsey, Little, Lloyd. We presume as of now they're all starters for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Which of them do you think ends up playing or starting the fewest games in 2025 for this football team? You can cast your vote if you'd like at MD_1010XL. Don't forget at 1010XL Fat Tony and at 1010XL Denmark.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
Gonna have to have some pictures, I think. I know what happens in Vegas stays there, but just a few candid shots.
I got you.
Just to make sure you did pack more than a G-string.
I got you.
Is all.
I might just wear the clothes I'm wearing right now and just wear it for the whole weekend.
Why not, right? What do you got?
I'm only going to be there for 48 hours.
You got a Florida Gator pullover right now?
Mm-hmm.
So,
some joggers.
Yeah, you're set. What do you need, man? It's the desert. It gets cold at night, but you'll be indoors.
That's what they tell me.
Right? You're not going to be outside very much. You're going to be going from club to club or whatever you're doing. And like I told you yesterday, just one thing. Don't get arrested. Okay? And if you do, just make sure you got the bail money on hand.
All right. I have $400 cash on me right now that I plan on putting on the parlay. So...
What do we know what the parlay is?
No, I don't know yet. I got to figure out how much I'm going to spend at the strip club.
You're going to put 400 down on a parlay?
No. I was just kidding.
Okay, I was going to say, man, that's
I do want to place a bet on the bracket somewhere, but I don't know what yet. So
let me guess. Gators to win it. Like Gators to win it all is not even going to pay very much.
No, it's not.
You know what
I was going to do a game that way I get the immediate, results and just go from there.
You don't want a delayed gratification.
Yeah,
you want instant feedback, stimulation. Blue years ago when they were playing Ohio State, Florida was playing Ohio State. I thought he had back when we were at the Toaster. right? Blue had I thought, a very brilliant idea of taking $10,000 and putting it on Florida to win the national title. Because he was like, it'd be worth it to me to pay $10,000 for Florida to lose to Ohio State. Right? And so, like, if Ohio State wins, okay, it was worth the investment. And if Florida loses or wins, at least I get paid off. I don't think he did it. But that's an interesting way of going about that. What is it worth to you? Is it worth $100 to you for Florida to make it to the Final Four? Right. I don't know if you can bet Florida going out before the Final Four. I'm sure you can bet just about anything in Vegas that you want to narrow it down to if you choose. I don't know, man. 641-1010 today if you want to get in on the phone lines or the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Hit us up in the YouTube virtual studio chat. We'll run through the lineup again. All of our shows, beginning with Helmets and Heels, going to be on location today. So you can go out, take in a little NCAA tournament action, and hang out with the ladies or the fellas, as the case may be. And we will unveil our brackets. We got Jamal St. joining us coming up later on this hour. And we'll look back at what the Jags have done in free agency to this point. Newest edition yesterday. And where do they go from here? That's coming up in about 20 minutes. So stick around. Got a lot to do. You're listening to Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods, Dandy Sandwiches, Dandy Subs, the Anytime Deli line. It's all under the same umbrella, the same Jacksonville-based company started by the Thompson family nearly 70 years ago, and they continue to thrive because they continue to give you excellent food options at reasonable prices. Always fresh, always delicious, highest quality ingredients. In fact, my man Denmark in there ought to grab him some dandy for the little commute over to the airport this afternoon so he can wait until the very last second to leave the house and enjoy all that NCAA tournament action as well. But whether it's breakfast, full line of breakfast items, sandwiches, subs, protein packs, anything you want on the go, think salads, think veggie trays, fruit cups. They got a little something for everyone's taste. Wherever you're at in terms of your hunger, you know it's always going to be fresh. It's always going to be delicious. It's always dandy. And the prices will put a smile on your face as well. When you're hungry in Duval, do what I do. Go out and make yours a dandy and do it today.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL. What do you think Dan and Jeff would be doing if they were never hired at 1010XL?
I am but a humble public servant.
Do some volunteer work with Greenpeace once in a while.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
I need a job!
Mornings on 1010XL.
Jags fans, here's your chance to score a trip to Green Bay for round one of draft night. Through the Everbank Draft Night Experience Sweepstakes, one lucky winner and a guest will be there live and in person to see the Jaguars make their first pick. To enter, visit everbank.com/draft by April 4th. That's everbank.com/draft. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry period from 3/3/25 to 4/4/25. For official rules, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/draft. Sponsored administrator, Everbank N.A.
Make the most of every lawn with Kubota commercial landscaping equipment. From the productivity-boosting Z700 mower to the reliable SVL track loader, it's a lineup built to get the job done right. Because when your reputation is on the line, you need equipment that will never let you down. Visit Coastal Equipment in Jacksonville or McClenny.
Greater power for the great outdoors. Coastal Equipment.
Coastal Equipment on New Kings Road and in McClenny.
Hey y'all, I'm Hannah with the Deck Guys. We've been locally owned and operated for over 10 years in the outdoor living space. If you are looking to get spring projects started, like a new deck, pavers installed, or maybe a pergola, we would love to earn your business. Just remember,
Call the Deck Guys if you want a brand new deck, pavers, or more. Call 904-813-2474.
thedeckguysjacks.com.
Jaguars Today Thursday is towed by Cannons of Jacksonville.
DUI? BUI? Don't stress. Call me, Malcolm Anthony, at 285-4LAW. That's 285-4LAW for Malcolm Anthony.
Get to know positions and players. The 1010XL Ultimate Draft Guide is brought to you by Blue Haven Pools, the #1 pool builder in Jacksonville. Follow rankings and roundtables as the draft takes shape. Go to 1010XL.com/2025 draft guide to get yours.
Jacksonville, get ready to spice up your night at One Night Taco Stand. Every Taco Tuesday, enjoy their mouth-watering tacos for just $2.99 and get your weekend started with 2-for-1 house margaritas. Find fresh Mexican street food, stiff drinks, and fun vibes at One Night Taco Stand with 3 Jacksonville locations in Mandarin, Orange Park, and Southside at Bay Meadows.
Join UF Health Jacksonville for their inaugural golf classic on Friday, April 25th at Amelia River Club. Sponsorships and foursomes are available. Visit ufhealthjacks.org/golf for details. See you on the course.
AC replacement? Not warming up when you want it? If your HVAC unit is close to calling it quits, make sure you call Florida Home AC. With over $4,500 in buyback and tax credits waiting for you, take advantage of it. 777-4300 for Florida Home AC.
Hi, I'm Jeff Breyer, president of Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring.
And I'm Zach Breyer. When my dad started in business in 1990, I wasn't even born yet.
That's true, and after 35 years and nearly 20,000 satisfied customers, we literally have a showroom in every neighborhood.
So whether you need more outdoor living space with a glass or screen enclosure, or you're looking to transform your home with new flooring, we've got you covered.
Visit our websites, or better yet, do yourself a favor and stop by one of our showrooms on Phillips Highway to experience the Lifetime difference and receive 20% off your purchase now through March.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Millard Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Millard Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Millard Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Millard Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Every morning that you wake up in a pest-free home is a good morning. And with Florida Pest Control's Pest-Free 365 service, you can. It's more than just a pest control or preventative maintenance plan. It's Florida Pest Control's promise that we'll be there providing pest-free living for your family all year long. And right now, our initial pest service is just $99. To learn more about our Pest-Free 365 service and to schedule your $99 initial pest service, visit flapest.com today.
Jacksonville runs on dreams, and Haymaker Coffee is a local brand fueling the next generation. Keep each day strong with a Haymaker. Fuel for the morning hustle, the late night, and every step of the way. Bold flavors for the bold city. Online at haymakercoffeeco.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Bright light city, gonna set my soul on fire.
If Donna Murphy is listening right now, she's very, very happy. Not many human beings she loves more than Elvis Presley. I'm thinking about, I told Dylan yesterday, I'd say, here's some money, put a bet down for me. But he's leaving on the red eye Saturday night, Sunday morning. So I don't want to hold him a winning ticket for me, and then how am I going to cash that thing? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I thought about texting him, Tony, if I had something come up, but he won't have any cash on hand by that point. Yeah. I mean, that'll have been blown on some kind of alcoholic beverage.
Blackjack.
If we're lucky. Or blackjack. Is that your game? Do you have a plan to attack the casinos?
I want to do one blackjack.
What do you mean one blackjack?
Just play a couple hands.
Just a couple hands?
Yeah.
Now, have a budget, man. Go in there. Take $100.
Okay.
Play the $5 table.
All right.
Right? That's 20 hands of blackjack.
Yeah.
Right? And at the end, what if you are in the black, if you make a profit, then walk away. Or not, whatever the case may be.
Or you spend $100 and
spend $100 and have a little fun playing blackjack and what have you. You can Google blackjack tips, Dylan. Because when I went to Vegas, I did ask people, and they gave me some good advice. I can't remember, splitting your whatevers and doubling down here, and it's just a few simple things, on when to hit, when to hold, and cleaned up pretty much, And honestly, the dealers will help you. If you don't know what you're doing, they'll give you some tips, believe it or not, because it doesn't matter to them. They just want to get tipped, I believe. Anyway, I'm no Vegas expert for sure, but trying to make sure that Dylan comes back with a little cash in his pocket. I thought about giving him $100 and just walking in to the casino and put it on black, Tony, one spin of the roulette wheel. I don't know if I can trust him, though. He might be like, nah, sorry, bro, it came up red, and I had extra $100 to drink with. So I'm not 100% sure if I want to go down that road. All right, let's talk about today's question today, presented by Chad and Sandy. Real estate, why don't we fire up the old 10-10 take?
10-10 take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 take is serviced by Ideal Conditions Heating and Air, your go-to local HVAC company. Veteran owned and operated.
Excuse me, our man is sharp today. He was on it. He was ready to go with the 10-10 take today, Tony. The question, assuming they all stay healthy, which one of these presumptive starters will start the fewest games in 2025 for the Jacksonville Jaguars? Is it ETN, Hainsey, Little, or Lloyd? Look, I think it's a fair conversation that Tom brought up about Walker Little, right? As the Jags continue to bring in offensive line depth, yesterday, bringing in a guy, Fred Johnson, who started 6 games for the world champs last year, right? Yeah. Absolutely can play tackle.
And we haven't seen Walker Little win a position competition yet.
This is true, right? They have an investment in it, but they didn't give him that investment, right? So, but I do, I were to assume, I think Walker Little will be the opening day starting left tackle. Yeah. Right? And here's why, or one of the reasons I think why. When they went out there, they saw the obvious holes they had. They filled those up right away, right? I mean, right guard, center, we got to have those guys. I feel like this is more of a target of opportunity. Okay, the market has settled down a little bit. They went with Chuma Edoga early on. I think they like his ability to maybe play a little inside, outside, be a swing tackle, be another guy in the room. But I don't get the sense that Edoga is going to push for a starting job. That's my sense. Maybe I'm wrong. I feel like Fred Johnson might, but if that were a big priority, would they have waited for the market to settle? You know what I mean? If they really looked at him and saying, hey, I think this guy's going to come in and challenge for the starting job. Not that he can't, not that now that he's here, he can't ascend, but I think this is more to me like, hey, there's a value here. Let's get him in. Let's get all these guys in the mix and see what develops out of it. But I don't think it's a specific, we've got to fix the problem we have with Walker Little at left tackle.
No, I don't see it that way either. We just had the conversation a moment ago about Javon Foster. I think it speaks to maybe how they feel in the building at this point about Foster.
Sure.
Right? It's not their guy. So if we're going to have 10 offensive linemen, then what exactly is that group of 10 going to look like, and how can we get the bottom half of that better? And the more opportunities we have to get that bottom half of that group better, we're not going to swing and miss. When those opportunities are there. If we swing and miss ultimately what the player isn't as what we expected him to be, we can deal with that. But we're not going to, forego the opportunity to continue to add people to that room because it is such an important thing. I mean, they keep talking about setting the table for Trevor Lawrence where they're trying to remake the table while they're setting it, right? There's a lot of work to be done for the Jaguars on the offensive line. So, yeah, keep adding people in. And no one's going to be surprised if they draft an offensive lineman or two. At some point in the 10 picks they're going to have, what does that mean for any of these guys?
I will be surprised if they go at pick 5.
I would too.
I wouldn't be shocked. I think you got to be open to just about anything.
That's where the Hainsey thing comes in.
Yeah.
Could they draft a center in round 3 that is the opening day starter? Potentially.
Yes.
There's the potential for that kind of thing out there, which is part of the thinking process with this question today.
But as for now, I think Hainsey is in a good position. There are only maybe a handful of centers in this draft, I think, that would qualify for that, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And so if you don't end up with one of them, I think Hainsey is, again, likely to open the season. Again, but this is how many games are they going to start? Who's going to start the fewest?
Yeah.
So it kind of comes
down. If they brought
down
in a guy that starts a month and a half into the season, then okay. It takes a little bit of time. They want Hainsey in to, bring the offense in, that kind of thing, but they have another plan that they potentially bring. It's thinking about all these potential things.
I think all these guys are a better bet to start on opening day than not. But how long will they maintain that? It's interesting. Devin Lloyd and Travis Etienne are the other options, right? Mm-hmm. And some people think, hey, there's a great running back class. We might just replace ETN and trade him. I don't know what his trade value is, really.
Not much.
It's been at 3.8, 3.7 yards a carry the last 2 seasons after that breakout 5-yard per carry plus average in his first healthy year here in Jacksonville.
Yeah. He feels like a player that's going to be, even if you get to the point where you draft somebody else to kind of challenge for that top spot, ETN's probably going to add more value on your roster than whatever you're going to get in a draft pick for him. Right? If it's one more year of ETN, the odds are you're getting more value having him on the roster than making a trade.
I'd probably vote for Devin Lloyd in this, honestly, just because I think Ventrell Miller could potentially beat him out. Or, we don't know what they're going to do with the 5th-year option with Devin Lloyd, right?
Sure.
So could they draft his replacement? And if they do, like a Jahad Campbell, who,
it's getting noisy with that.
It is, right?
This week.
A lot of people, now he had to have labrum surgery. And they're saying may not be ready till the start of the year, which complicates things a little bit. But if you're looking more long-term for the Jaguars, maybe he falls to 36 because more and more frequently he's been mocked in the first round, right? But maybe because of his lack of immediate availability that, he falls to 36, say you grab him there, and at some point when he shows he's healthy, you got to get him on the field. That's just one way they could go. Now, there are also multiple spots you can start at linebacker, whereas only one guy starts at running back. I'm kind of going back and forth between these two. I think ultimately I might land on ETN simply because Tank Bigsby might start some games, period, just the way it is. They're going to add to that room.
It's the nature of that position.
I don't think they're going to move off of ETN because I don't think there's going to be a big market for ETN out there. I think there's still good running backs available in free agency if you wanted to add a guy to your room. J.K. Dobbins had finally a healthy season, for instance, last year, played pretty well. He's out there. You can just sign him off the street. So right now, I guess my vote is leaning towards ETN, but it's kind of a coin flip between those two, which is reflected in the early numbers as well. So if you haven't voted, head over to @MD_1010XL on Twitter and cast your ballot there. About 250 of you have so far. 41% going with Devin Lloyd so far, 38% going with ETN. 12% say Walker Little is going to start the fewest games out of any of these 4, and Robert Hainsey has the most confidence from the fan base right now, 8.9% of the vote. So the lower number is the better number for you.
Well, he's
today.
not getting pushed from anybody on the roster.
I would suspect not, right? And people, why haven't they moved on for Luke Fortner? He's their backup center right now. Let's see how the draft plays out before we start handing out the final roster spots on the offensive line. Jamal St. joins us next from Channel 4. We'll talk Jags. Don't forget, get your brackets submitted at 1010XL.com for the Madness Bracket Challenge with some great prizes on the line. Free to enter, have some fun, and you can brag about how much better you are than the Jaguars Today crew, I have a feeling, when it's all said and done, when the dust settles. Jamal on the other side, Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark here with you on Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Pella Windows and Doors. Man, are we having a beautiful run of weather right now. You can see it clearly if you're standing in your living room through your new windows from Pella Windows and Doors with 0% financing for 60 months. That's 60 months, 5 years of interest-free payments on the best windows and doors in the business. Don't wait. You can schedule a free consultation online at PellaJacks.com or visit Pella's showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. For quality you can trust and savings you can't miss, that's Pella Windows and Doors.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
Hey everybody, Jennifer Marion with Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville here to say hello, and we'd sure like to have your business.
You know what? They're going to love the king of price.
My dad believes in making great deals and having a great selection in stock.
Cadillac XT4s, XT5s, and XT6s, and Escalades.
The all-electric Cadillac Lyriq.
CT4s and CT5s.
Cadillac luxury and selection is just waiting for you.
At Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
And don't forget, tell him Jennifer sent ya.
He's nationally syndicated sports writer Matt Hayes.
And you might be...
And he's Jags beat writer Hayes Carline.
At least he got his name right.
Get more Hayes.
I gotta get me one of those.
Afternoons on 1010XL.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold and silver and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at almost $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more value at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Jaguars Today, Thursday.
Brought to you by Cannons of Jacksonville.
Joe C for Hard Rock Bet, and it's finally here. You've got your bracket. Now you've got to head to hardrock.bet and check out all the big games. This is it. March is all about underdogs, buzzer beaters, unforgettable moments. Hard Rock Bet keeps the action going with promos, boosts, and more all tournament long. Don't miss out. Be ready for tip-off. Download the Hard Rock app now. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Do you know someone looking for a fun and rewarding summer job? Join the YMCA team, gain valuable experience, and make a difference in kids' lives. Turn your passion for this community into a fulfilling career at the First Coast YMCA. Now hiring camp counselors, lifeguards, child care leaders, and membership experience team. Every single person on the dedicated YMCA staff plays a role in making the Y a welcoming and vital resource for our community. Find your career at the Y at fcymca.org.
Equal opportunity employer.
Where Blue Bloods and Cinderellas come together to dance.
Now on until the end of the season, I don't want you to think about anything but basketball.
Tune in for live updates on 1010XL.
Served up hot by Hurricane Grill and Wings and Florida Pest Control.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know before you blow. Go to knowbeforeyouBlow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
Bueller, stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, buddy, you look worried.
Worried? I'm apoplectic!
You're what now?
I'm freaking out, Jason. Stupid water heater crapped out, so I haven't showered since Thursday. I start smelling a little funky, blow my big corporate job interview tomorrow, I'll end up settling for some dead-end career selling spatulas on the internet.
Dude, stay cool.
There's nothing cool about a cold shower, Jason. I mean, I know how that sounds, but
Bueller Air and Plumbing can get a new water heater installed today. The day you call. You could be smelling fresh again by dinner time.
Wait, you can do that?
Put on these sunglasses. Whoa. Is that cooler?
Oh, yeah.
Well, life moves pretty fast. If you spend much more time smelling like this, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
St. Johns County parents, does your kid have energy to burn? Want them to play a sport for their middle school? Sign up today for the St. John's Middle School Athletic Association. Spring pickleball, tackle football, dance, and cheerleading. Who doesn't want their kid to be the next NFL quarterback or dance floor diva? Hurry, time is running out. March is almost over. You know how fast your kid can go from playing Xbox to practicing their touchdown dance or sideline cheer? Sign up at sjmsaa.org. sjmsaa.org.
Come visit the best sports restaurant in town. That's Big Dogs in Orange Park, known for great burgers, huge wings, pizza, salads, and special nightly events like trivia and karaoke. You'll all love it at Big Dogs Restaurant in Orange Park.
SportsForecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web. Precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or barstool bluster. At SportsForecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. SportsForecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, more Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, let's talk about your favorite team. Well, at least that plays in the National Football League, Tony, because a lot of people's favorite team, they're predicting to make to the Final Four over the next couple of weeks for sure. And we happen to be the home for both of those squads, the Jaguars and the Gators. But joining us now, Jamal St. from Channel 4 Sports Anchor Extraordinaire to talk a little Jaguars and maybe just a smidge of Final Four. Jamal, good morning. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, guys? How you doing this morning?
We're hanging in there. It was good to see you out there at the Players last week. Always one of the crown jewels here on the First Coast. So let's cut to the chase. I've got to presume you watch more college basketball than Tony and I combined, at least, because we watch very little.
You don't have to watch much.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a low bar, sir. But who do you got in your Final Four right now? I know you have to have filled out a bracket.
Yeah, I've filled out a bracket or two. I'm not going to say I'm the bracket extraordinaire. But I do have I have the SEC heavy Gators, Auburn, Houston, and Duke all making it to the Final Four. So I know a lot of excited Gators fans if that happens.
Wow. So let's call them chalk St. Cyr here, man. Four 1 seeds advancing, sticking your neck out. Gators cutting down the nets, in your opinion?
I think they got a chance. I mean, it's been a fantastic year for them. The one thing that they got to do is stay hot, and I think they're going to have trouble trying to get past that Auburn team. I mean, we've seen those two battle during the season, so I think it'll be a good bracket. I think it's going to be pretty chalk, but I think overall it's going to be a real battle and probably an SEC team cutting down some nets when it's all said and done.
All right, we shall see. First one fell yesterday with Texas going down to Xavier, but they got a lot left.
Only 13 left. That's a shame.
Oh, darn. All right, so Jamal, we haven't had you on and talked to you since free agency, and they added a piece yesterday in Fred Johnson, who's kind of interesting, actually, right? Ended up starting 6 games for the eventual Super Bowl champion Eagles last year. What do you make of the additions they've made, particularly so far, the 4 players they've added on the offensive line?
You got to love when they put their money where their mouth is, right? They said they wanted to improve in the trenches, and they go out and start getting guys. And not just guys where we're like, who's this dude? But guys that have played meaningful football on teams that have made runs in the postseason. I mean, Fred Johnson not starting for the Eagles for the entire season. I mean, he's behind one of the better players in the league, and when he did start, he didn't disappoint. And everybody will make a pretty good argument that the Eagles have the best O-line in football. So grabbing a guy who was able to fill in for them is pretty meaningful, especially when you can get at this late stage of free agency. But, I mean, they've really started to bolster this thing, and they want to create competition on that offensive line. That is very clear by what they've done, and they're adding those guys, and I wouldn't be surprised if they add another guy or two during the draft. But, I mean, it's kind of an indictment of some of the guys that are on the roster, too, because they're like, yeah, we need to replace that guy. He's not even ready to compete. So they're definitely bringing in some guys. They're putting their money where their mouth is to improve in the trenches to try and make a run at this thing.
How would you rank the Jaguars' biggest needs now coming out of free agency as they prepare for the draft?
I mean, it's got to be wide receivers up there, in my opinion. I think you can't go into the season with what you have right now. You got to add at least one more big-time piece there. I think the defensive line's got to get a big injection. I mean, they talked about wanting to win in the trenches, and that's the one spot where they really haven't done any work is on that D-line. James Gladstone talking about it after that initial free agent class and said, he wanted to leave space for those rookies to be able to play. So, I mean, maybe that's him tipping his cap or showing his hand somewhere along the line. But one way or another, they're going to be adding some pieces to that defensive line through the draft. So I think those are the two spots that are definitely screaming you got to do something there, whether it's through the draft, whether you find a way to make it happen with a trade. Something's got to move.
That's interesting. I already know your answer to this, but the audience may not because I watched one of your videos. Yesterday, we asked head up if it came down to these 2 players, Travis Hunter versus Mason Graham, and I know a lot of people say they're not going to be both available there at 5, but if they were, and that's the choice, And those are the two positions that, if you're presuming Travis Hunter's going to play wide receiver, those are the two positions you just laid out, the defensive line and wide receiver. Which way do you go and why?
You sprint the card in for Travis Hunter, and you don't think twice. You sprint it in. I mean, Travis Hunter, right now, if you draft him, he can start at two positions for you. Whichever one you feel like he's the best at. You can put him at corner or you can put him at wide receiver. In my opinion, where the Jaguars roster is right now, you need that boost in that wide receiver room. I'd make him a wide receiver if they did it, because I think he can be just as impactful at wide receiver. I mean, he's a really good football player on both sides. This isn't like a shot to say, oh, he's a better corner. I think he's a better corner because his ball skills there are just different. Those guys don't grow on trees. But, I mean, I think he's a really good wide receiver. If you graded him as just a wide receiver, he's the best one in this class, hands down. You sprint that card in, take him, you put that piece there, and then if you decide, I mean, you want to get crazy and try and play them both ways, I don't think that's realistic. Go for it. But I think that gives that boost, that puts that extra weapon on the offense that you're looking for. Like I said, you can't go in. I mean, if you look at the wide receiver room, you kind of know what you got with Brian Thomas Jr., Diami Brown, they feel like the arrow's pointing up, but really we haven't seen it from him over the course of his career for a full season really producing. Gabe Davis, from what you saw last year, like, you can't feel confident about that. There is no way you can go into next season and say, Trevor, this was all about building around you, but here's who you have to throw the ball to. You just can't do it. So if you have a chance to get Travis Hunter, who can be a difference maker at wide receiver, you sprint that card in and go get that guy.
Daniel Jeremiah mocked linebacker Jalen Walker to the Jags earlier this week. How do you expect the Jaguars to approach the linebacker position in this year's draft?
I mean, I think he's crazy. If they do that at 5, I mean, that would be insane. Maybe if they trade back, we can talk about it, because they do have to improve the edge, and if they see that vision for sliding Trayvon inside, like, the pieces there could work out. I think they'll add a linebacker somewhere along the lines, but I'd be surprised if it was a day one linebacker. I mean, off-ball linebacker historically in the draft is kind of hit and miss. You still got Devin Lloyd right now, who's kind of there. You're paying Foye Oluokun, who's really been the brains in your defense for the past few years. So I think that's a priority to add maybe some use to that room, but I don't think it's going to be a high priority, especially when you kind of saw glimpses of Ventrell Miller showing that he can really be a player last year when he got opportunity. So I don't think that's going to be a high priority, but I wouldn't be surprised if they added a guy maybe day 2 or day 3, because there are some solid linebackers in this year's class that could come in and contribute.
Let me ask you, all right, Jamal, Abdul Carter's available at 5. What is your interest level? Take him. Okay.
You take him in a heartbeat. You take him and figure it out. There are guys like that you just draft and figure it out. Just because they're good. I mean, you can never have too many pass rushers in this league, whether it's Josh Hines, Allen, Trayvon Walker, and you add Abdul Carter to that, third downs, you just harass quarterback. And, I mean, if all the pieces work out right, where Liam Cohen can get this offense humming, that means the Jaguars are playing with more leads.
Okay.
And more leads means more opportunities to rush the passer.
Right. I didn't mean to cut you off there. But I'm going to play a little devil's advocate here, because I think, like Tony, Jalen Walker, I was like, that seems a little rich for my blood at 5. And I started thinking about it. Well, what if he does play linebacker on base downs, and he is your third down pass rusher on, third and medium or longer?
Yeah, Devin Lloyd may be, out.
Or even if he's not. You often play 3 linebackers. I just feel like if Abdul Carter, you say, hey, let's figure it out. And I'm not picking on you, because a lot of people say the same thing, right? If you're going to say, hey, let's bring him in, he's a talent, let's figure it out. Maybe we can play him a little bit at linebacker. He's certainly rushed the passer on third down. I'm not sure why, other than the fact maybe you think there's a gap between a massive gap in the talent between the two players, why, if it would work for Abdul Carter, why it couldn't work for Jalen Walker.
Yeah, I think the plan, the vision would be pretty similar for Abdul Carter, doing similar things to what you would do with Jalen Walker. I think there's a talent difference, and I think there's a little bit of a projection difference. I think Abdul Carter's shown that elite ability to get to the quarterback without question. Jalen Walker, not quite as consistent there. He had 6.5 sacks last season, which are pretty good numbers, and he is a really good athlete to where you could do some of those similar things. But, Abdul Carter was taking over games. In the college football playoffs, you saw it. This guy was a handful, a wrecking ball. And the things that he would be able to do as a stand-up linebacker against the run would be absolutely dominant, and then the ability to put him coming off the edge is like a demon. I mean, I think Abdul Carter projects quickly as a double-digit sack guy. I think Jalen Walker could get there, but, I mean, it's not as firm, like, in my opinion, from what I've seen from him, that you're definitely going to get that, you know?
There may not be one when I ask this question, but in your mind, is there a worst-case scenario for the Jags at 5?
A worst-case scenario?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a worst-case scenario. I mean, the worst case would be if no quarterbacks get taken in the first 4 picks, which I really don't see happening. But if somehow, like, those first 4 picks go off and there's not a single quarterback gone, then you're probably picking from, you know, a little bit of scraps at that point. I mean, I think that would be worst-case scenario. Or, you know, nobody wants to trade up to go get somebody to where you really just are stuck there and have to make a pick. I mean, if I was picking a worst-case scenario, and, I mean, this is a stretch. Like, I like Ted McMillan as a player and what he would bring to the Jaguars, but I got questions. Like, if you start listening to, like, going through some of the stuff where he talks about football and where he cares about it, there's enough question marks there to where, like, that might be my, like, it's giving me enough pause where I'm like, I don't know if I want that guy at 5. So maybe that. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't see Cam Ward not going top 4, but I could see only Cam Ward among quarterbacks going. I think the worst case would be then if Carter, Hunter, and Mason Graham are all gone, right? And those whatever combination of teams that it takes to take them off the board.
Ted back into the, right. We got to think about it.
Ted, or maybe go, you know, the Jalen Walker, do we go offensive line here or whatever the case. But overall, Jamal, we know what they set out to do. A lot of, you know, buzzwords about raising the floor and, you know, the intangibly rich, and they feel like they've done that. But how successful do you feel they've been in free agency with the 10 players they've added?
You know, I think they've been solid, and I think the evaluation, you can see it from the Jaguars free agents that they've let go. I mean, if you look at guys like, I mean, even Cam Robinson, who was traded midway through last season, he wasn't exactly highly sought after, ended up signing a 1-year deal with the Texans. Ronald Darby, they let him walk. He signed a cheap deal with the Texans. I mean, a lot of those Jaguars free agents were replaced. That they replaced were not highly sought after when they were on the streets, and the Jaguars weren't going after them. So they went out and got a handful of guys that they feel like fit what they were doing and to create some of that competition. I mean, I don't think they're going to get too much of an argument from just about anybody that they've improved the offensive line room depth by adding some of these guys they've added. There wasn't a whole lot of confidence when guys like Blake Hance or Cole Van Lannon were going into the football game that they were going to be able to hold up. So, I mean, with these guys, these are guys that have started games. They have experience. So now you at least say, okay, well, you at least kind of know what you're going to get with these players. And maybe if they feel like they can coach them up and get more, great. But you at least have that point of where if there is an injury, you're not immediately scratching your head of, oh, wow, who's this guy that's getting ready to go in here? We saw him getting whooped on during training camp. This isn't good, you know? And I feel like that's where they were on the offensive line. I mean, very quickly, like the cornerback room, similar enough where they were scraping the bottom of the pile, and they've kind of improved that by bringing in Jordan Lewis a little bit, and they'll probably bring in another corner that'll continue to kind of create that competition there. I mean, they've already done that by bringing in Jordan Lewis, where we're questioning where does Jarian Jones play, because we've seen enough from him that we like him. So that these are good problems where they are creating some of that competition and raising the floor on the football team.
What is your reaction to Houston adding all the former Jaguars they seemingly can this offseason?
It's kind of funny, honestly, because it almost seems like the Texans are just scooping up like all of them, where they're becoming the Jaguars East or West a little bit. But, I mean, it almost seems like they're saying, like, these guys have talent, but they were poorly coached under the last regime, and they feel like they're going to be able to get more from those guys is what it kind of seems like. But they're also getting them at discount. I mean, they got Ronald Darby on a massive discount. They got Cam Robinson at a massive discount compared to what the Jaguars were paying them. So it's a little bit different. I mean, even when they got Foley Fatukasi a couple of years ago, he was at a massive discount compared to what the Jaguars were paying him. So it's like they're looking at it saying, well, the Jaguars had solid players. They were just massively overpaying some of them.
Well, I got to loop Fortner burning the hole in my pocket if they're interested. So we may not be done when it's all when the dust settles. We'll find out. All right, Jamal St. Cyr, we always appreciate his thoughts. You can find Jamal on the X platform at J St. Cyr TV. That's JSTCYR TV for, you got it, television. How about that? From Channel 4, where he does a great job as sports anchor. Jamal, thanks as always for the visit, man. Good luck with your bracket, and we'll catch up with you again, I'm sure, before the NFL draft rolls around.
All right, deal, guys. Appreciate you having me on.
Thank you, buddy. There he goes, Jamal St. Cyr out the door. Tone, let's come back. We'll go around the league. Saw maybe the dumbest 3-round mock yet. You and I think the boys on the drill talked about it a little bit this morning, but if you missed it, you didn't miss much over at CBS Sports.
It happened quick for the Jags.
Yes, it really did, right? Like, we could take a nap on Friday of the NFL draft, but we'll get into that coming up next. We'll unveil our brackets as we get deeper into hour 2 as well. You're welcome to be a part of the program. And, of course, the Chad and Sandy Real Estate question of the day, asking you out of the quartet of ETN, Walker Little, Devin Lloyd, Robert Hainsey, which one of those presumptive starters is likely to start the fewest games this year for the Jaguars? That's your question of the day. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Superior products, exceptional service. A symphony of sweat, grit, and glory. Dive into the action and live the moments. For play-by-play, it's 1010XL.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is giving away free beer again this year for the Madness Tournament.
Do they really give you a free pint of Miller Lite for each game you pick right?
Yes, all you got to do is fill out your bracket at 1010XL.com. The contest page closes this morning, so go to the flash page now at 1010XL.com. For free beer, just download your bracket, print it out, and bring it into any Mr. Chubby's Wings during the games. Every game you pick right, you get a free beer.
Go to 1010XL.com now. It's the free beer Chubby Madness Bracket Challenge. See Mr. Chubby's Wings Facebook for full contest details.
Hey, gang, Prosser here. Are you ready to sell your home? I got an easy game plan. Call Chad and Sandy, the only agents I would call to sell my home. The economy is showing positive signs. It might be time to sell, and your home will get you the price you want with Chad and Sandy. It's easy to find out. Get friendly expert help from the Jacksonville agents who eat, drink, and sleep local real estate. Call agents Chad and Sandy Newman. Maybe you're worried about costly repairs or upgrades needed to sell your home. Guess what? You don't need to. No required costly repairs. Pick your move date. There are no long-term contracts, and you can cancel at any time. But it comes down to the Chad and Sandy guarantee. Your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. All problems have disappeared. Pete Lakeshore says, I was in a pickle. I needed to cash out on a rental property fast. I was struggling to rent. I heard Chad and Sandy on the radio, called. I had an offer for full asking price within days. Join the local success stories by calling Chad and Sandy at 904-414-6200 or going to ChadAndSandy.com.
You're locked in to Jaguars Today Thursday with
Cannons of Jacksonville.
Out with the old, in with the organized. Mia here for my friends at Closets by Design. Freshen up your home this spring with a custom organization solution. For a limited time, take advantage of our spring special and enjoy exclusive savings on closets, garages, home offices, and more. That's 40% off with an additional 50% off with 12-month special financing through April. Spring on this deal before it's gone. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation with Closets by Design.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about not looking at the rear-view mirror of unforgiveness. It's so easy to keep looking in the past when someone has hurt or offended us. What we don't realize that if we keep looking at the rear-view mirror of anger, it will cause us to miss out on the good things that God has in store right in front of us. Friends, looking in the rear-view mirror of the past will never give you peace in the present.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
You lost your swing. We got to go find it. It's your Saturday morning swing adjustment. Grip it and rip it. Get the golf tips and talk to take your game to the next level. The Edwin Watts Golf Hour. Saturday mornings at 10 on 1010XL.
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
If you want to see Florida take on Florida State at the Showdown at the baseball grounds at Five-Star Ballpark, March 25th, text baseball to the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures at 641-1010 for your chance to win tickets.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach. This free agency profile is brought to you by Universal Roof and Contracting. Experience the universal difference.
After spending his entire 8-year career with the Dallas Cowboys, Jordan Lewis is signing with the Jacksonville Jaguars. In the most recent season, he allowed a completion rate of 71% with 1 interception and 5 pass breakups. Lewis is reportedly set to become the highest paid nickel corner in the league. However, Jacksonville believes that this signing is worth every penny.
Are you thinking about a pool for your home? Blue Haven Pools is Jacksonville's largest pool builder. They've built pools for over 20,000 satisfied families since 2000. It's never been easier to design the perfect pool for your home, family, and budget. Call Blue Haven Pools today at 904-620-0090 to get a free in-home estimate for your in-ground pool, or visit bluehaven.com. Don't let another summer pass by without a pool. Join thousands of happy Jacksonville pool owners in a Blue Haven pool.
It's March Madness, and your office needs a champion. Advanced Business Solutions teams up with Xerox to bring you copiers that never miss a shot. Fast, reliable, and ready to handle the pressure. Make the winning play for your business. Hire the champions at Advanced Business Solutions, where your business goes for the win. Locally and veteran-owned.
Print documents and IT management. Advanced Business Solutions.
Cool Cats Heating and Cooling, the coolest cats in town, setting the standard in our hometown. Quality service, the best around. Coolidge is the cat that cares about your heating and about your air. Cool Cats Heating and Cooling, the coolest cats in town.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update, brought to you by Dogtopia Beach in St. John's Bluff. Gainesville is buzzing and the Florida Gators are at the center of it all. After a strong finish to the regular season and an impressive run in the SEC tournament, the Gators have solidified their spot as one of the most dangerous teams heading into March Madness. Head coach Todd Golden spoke on SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt on the Gators now being the talk of the town heading into the tournament.
You know, being kind of the talk of the town, and I talked to my team about it yesterday. I was like, listen, this is a new variable that we have to, account for, and we got to make sure we handle success the right way. But the great thing is we have a really mature group, led by our 3 senior perimeter players, Walter Clayton, Will Richard, and Elijah Martin. And those guys aren't going to let us look too far ahead. They have one goal, and that's to win a national championship. And our guys understand that we can't get anywhere close to where we want to unless we play well against Norfolk State on Friday.
Stay tuned in to 1010XL for all your March Madness updates today and tomorrow. It's 73 degrees at 11:01. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, here's everything you need to know about our afternoon lineup and locales where they are all going to be set up today. We got Helmets and Heels starting an hour from now at Hurricane Grill and Wings on Hendricks Avenue. They'll go until 2 o'clock. And let's see here. And I had all these set up, and as I click to each one, it wants to refresh the page. Here we go, Tony. XL Primetime at Twin Peaks on Atlantic Boulevard from 2 to 4. This afternoon, the Frangie Show is going to be at Dart Bar and Games on King Street from 4 to 6. And then Blue and Hacker will set up at Mr. Chubby's on the west side, Crystal Springs. What's the intersection again, Dylan?
I-10
Chafee.
I-10 and Chafee.
Right there, get off, take a left, right there.
Right there. That's where everything is on the west side. Right there. Just right there. It's just right there. Dylan is our embedded west side reporter for Jaguars Today. So all over the place. Of course, keep it right here on the dial. We'll have Jaguars coverage in addition to NCAA tournament coverage all day long, keeping you updated on all the upsets. We'll unveil our brackets coming up here in about 10, 15 minutes for what they're worth, which is not much. A $10 investment into the office pool is about what it's worth to me, Tone, and hopefully I make it to tomorrow in decent shape. We'll see how that all works out.
I've come close to winning it the last 2 years.
I know you have.
Yeah.
And you don't watch any more college basketball than I do.
No.
I should copy off of you and then just switch one game, and it could all come down to that one game.
That's what it's done the last 2 years.
All right, we'll get to that ridiculous mock draft that we mentioned a moment ago. Like, I feel like people look at Jacksonville and like, hey, let's play around with this. Imagine if they did something stupid like this. How would you feel about that? But before we do, Tony's going to take us around the NFL.
Now, Gems Around the NFL, brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
The Houston Texans are signing former Jaguars left tackle Cam Robinson to a one-year, $12 million deal that could be worth up to $14.5 million. Houston has also gotten a one-year extension done with defensive end Danielle Hunter that will keep him with Houston through the 2026 season and make him the second highest paid defensive end in the NFL, with him getting $32 million this year and $55.1 million over the next 2 years, with $54.1 million of that guaranteed. Houston has something about that last million.
Right. Like, we won't go the full guarantee. We'll only do 99% of it.
It's weird. A couple of them this week. Tennessee is bringing back running back Julius Chestnut on a one-year deal. Washington has reworked the deal with wide receiver Deebo Samuel. Samuel will get $17 million this year, with another $3 million available in incentives. The Chicago Bears have signed wide receiver Devin Duvernay, who spent last season here in Jacksonville on a one-year deal. The Bears are also bringing back running back Travis Homer on a one-year deal. New England is signing linebacker Jack Gibbons to a one-year contract. New England head coach Mike Vrabel coached Gibbons as a rookie with the Titans, and Atlanta is signing safety Jordan Fuller to a one-year deal. And now the NFL rule change submissions. Detroit has submitted a rule change that would keep the team with the best record in each conference as the one seed with the bye, but that would rank the remaining 6 playoff teams based on record, meaning that winning the division would no longer guarantee a team a home playoff game to start the playoffs. Detroit has submitted a proposal that would eliminate the automatic first down that is currently granted for an illegal contact or defensive holding. Green Bay has submitted a rule trying to ban the tush-push play, with the proposed rule change stating that it would prevent players from pushing a teammate that is lined up directly behind the snapper and receives the snap immediately at the snap. Philadelphia submitting a proposal asking for the regular season overtime rules to be brought into, or the postseason overtime rules brought into the regular season, which guarantees each team to get at least one possession in the overtime period.
Maybe it's because if the Jags win their division, that's their easiest path to the playoffs. I don't expect them to have like a 14-3 record this year.
Why still have divisions?
Well, I still am in favor of having divisions and having them have a home game. Like, win your division, get a home game.
Like, with that rule change, it's why do you have divisions still?
Right.
If there's no reward for winning the division.
Otherwise, let's make it a conference and lump it together. I guess for scheduling purposes and rivalries and all that. But I'm with you. I'd rather just keep it the way it is as far as that goes. I don't mind the idea of, like, illegal contact or holding being a 5-yard penalty. And if 5 yards gets you the first down, I've always hated that. Oh, somebody got grabbed for a half a second on 3rd and 20, and it's a first down. 5 yards and a first down.
I'm in favor of that rule change, too.
Or at least I'd be open to it. I may not have thought through all the ramifications of it. All right, let's get through this quickly because we don't need to belabor it much, and we want to get to our picks for the tournament coming up. But Chris Trapasso's at it again over at CBS Sports, throwing a mock draft out there. And I'll say the first 4 picks are fine here. Cam Ward going to the Titans, Abdul Carter going to Cleveland. Armand Membo, who a lot of people think is the rising offensive lineman, going to the Giants 3rd. Okay, maybe a little outside the box, but whatever. And then Travis Hunter to the Patriots. Nothing crazy, right?
No. Yeah.
So then he has the Jags taking Will Campbell, the offensive lineman out of LSU. He says protecting Trevor Lawrence priority number 1 in Jacksonville, which is why this selection is made at the start of the Liam Cohen era. I can even say, you know what, it's not crazy. Assuming he's well aware of everything that's gone down here, Anton Harrison, didn't grade out very well last year.
Sure.
Walker Little was signed by the old regime. Okay. I'm probably not what I expect there. Probably more of a Mason Graham, but okay.
If it was an indication of him being a little locked in on the Jaguars, then okay.
Fine.
Right.
Fine. But defensive tackle's deep, Tony. So we'll get one later, right? We'll apparently get one 15 picks later.
Oh.
Because what he then had the Jaguars doing was trading pick 36, 70, and 88. Those 3 picks to get the 20th pick. Now, I'm not even saying the chart would say that's a bad deal, right? But to come up and get Derek Harmon, the defensive tackle out of Oregon, the Jaguars desperately need more interior push from their defensive line. They get that with an aggressive move for Harmon. In this swap, the Jaguars send 36, 70, and 88 to the Broncos for the rights to pick Harmon. And I get it, different kinds of defensive tackles at pick 36. In this very mock, you could add Kenneth Grant. He's sitting right there. I mean, there's tons. Deion Walker is sitting there. Again, those are more the nose tackle type. Tyleik Williams went at pick 35. And again, it's just a mock anyway. But could you imagine?
I'd be so mad.
If they traded up 16 spots to get a defensive tackle and didn't have picks in the second and third round?
I'd be so mad.
How ridiculous would this be?
Yeah.
And this we got to trust Gladstone or whatever. I would not be very trustworthy, or I would not be very trusting, I should say.
There are scenarios where they bypass the opportunity to select Mason Graham, and I'd be okay with it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there are scenarios where that exists. This scenario, if they gave up all of their day 2 to move back into the first round to take a defensive tackle after bypassing the opportunity to take Mason Graham, I'd be furious.
Right.
Like, it would be not a fun Friday here on the show, despite the fact that they made 2 first-round picks. It'd be all, what are they doing?
Oh, my gosh. I mean, like, I'd say, hey, Derek Harmon, go out there and become the next Aaron Donald, but barring that, I'd be very questioning here. By the way, he had Jalen Walker out of Georgia going 25th overall in this draft. Just difference of opinions on these guys. Jeremiah had him going to the Jaguars this week at number 5 overall. Jahad Campbell, we've talked a lot about recently, going 27th here. There's so many ways they could go. Walter Nolan going at pick 30. Gray Zabel then. So, look, I get it. A lot of these guys are going to be off the board at pick 36. Yeah, that's the way the draft works, right? But again, it might be the strongest position outside of running back. And running back's not a position you have to go early.
Yeah.
It would just be mind-boggling to me. All your day 2 draft capital, poof, gone for one defensive tackle.
Yeah, mocks don't generally make me mad. This one made me mad.
Yeah, it just made me feel like it was almost like, hey, which team, which fan base can we just ignore and have them doing something stupid here? And I don't know what to make of that. I mean, there's so many different ways that this could play out, but I will take my chances with those 3 picks over one defensive tackle not named Mason Graham with pick 20. All right, let's come back. Let's, for what it's worth, put ourselves on the record for some of our upset picks and who we've got winning the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. You still got time. Head over to 1010XL.com and fill out your bracket for a chance to win a lot of cool prizes, and we'll detail those when we come back. But if you haven't already submitted one, 1010XL.com. You still have time before the games kick off shortly after noon today. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
I'm the voice of the Gators, Sean Kelly, on the home of the Gators, 1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Call 904-500-COOL. Ideal Conditions.
Ideal Conditions Heating and Air Conditioning is your go-to for all AC repairs and replacements. Just ask your AC. For exceptional service, call 904-500-COOL or visit idealconditionsjax.com to schedule your estimate today.
Call 904-500-COOL.
Honk if you see us. Call for service.
Ideal Conditions.
Idealconditionsjax.com.
Here's Linda Beaver.
At Beaver Toyota, we believe your experience should be more than just buying a car. It should be a lifetime of confidence, care, and trust. We're proud to offer a lifetime warranty, lifetime oil changes, and lifetime customer service. We're not just here to sell you a car. We're here to establish a lifelong relationship that you can always count on. It's simple. You deserve the best and shouldn't settle for less. Visit Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine, where we're ready to give you peace of mind for a lifetime. We're here to wow you.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to carlsondentalgroup.com. That's carlsondentalgroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Jaguars Today Thursday, brought to you by Cannons of Jacksonville.
Prosser here. No matter what you do, man, you love consistency. And when it comes to selling your home for Chad and Sandy, good times are bad. They're there to help you, and you're going to get the most that you can. The economy actually showing positive signs. Now may be the time to sell your home at the price you want, and it's easy to find out. Get friendly expert help from the Jacksonville agents who are there for you. My agents, Chad and Sandy Newman. Maybe you need more space with a growing family or working from home. Whatever your reasons, Chad and Sandy come through for you as the local real estate experts I trust and recommend. Chad and Sandy, in fact, will guarantee you this. Your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. John and Ursula in Green Meadows said, I was not in great health, so we decided to downsize to an easier place to manage. First, we needed to sell our Green Meadows home fast. Unfortunately, after 185 days, our home failed to sell. With another realtor, we made the switch, though, to Chad and Sandy. Sold it in 12 days. You can, too. Go to chadandsandy.com or call 414-6200.
Spring is in the air. Time to wake up your lawn with Heroes Lawn Care. Say goodbye to pesky mosquitoes with their organic and spray treatments. Perfect for outdoor fun. Keep your lawn clean and fresh with their pet waste removal for homes and businesses. Heroes Lawn Care takes care of it all. From mowing, edging, fertilizer, to irrigation, and much more. Visit heroeslawncare.com.
To catch more fish, you gotta think like a fish. Captain Kevin and the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show. Reeled in by the Pest Pros at Royal Pest Services. And awaken 180 weight loss.
Thursday nights at 6.
On 1010XL AM.
The restaurant of the day is the Great Greek Mediterranean Grill. Get a Greek Feast family combo meal tray with chicken skewers, gyro meat, gulmades, and more. Feed 4 to 6 people for just $49.95. Feed 8 to 10 for just $99.95. The Great Greek Mediterranean Grill.
Mark Watson here to tell you a little bit about hardballcreative.com. It's your online promo haven with thousands of ideas on how to promote your company. We're open 24/7, 365.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, rolling lot bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
The best golfing weather is upon us, and Hidden Hills Golf Club invites you to enjoy your next round of golf with us. Our welcoming atmosphere and love for golf keep our friends coming back. Check us out at hiddenhillsgc.com. You'll be glad you did.
Tired of supermarket produce that's traveled thousands of miles before you get it? Treat your family to farm-fresh, Florida-grown fruits and veggies delivered right to your home with Doorbell Farms. No supply chain issues or questionable origins, just seasonal produce handpicked from local farmers. Subscribe monthly and enjoy the best local farm produce delivered right to you. Sign up now at doorbellfarms.com, connecting real people to real family farms. Doorbellfarms.com.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey, and I only like to recommend the best, which is why I'm proud to say that I chose Pella Windows and Doors for my own home. And now's a great time to upgrade your home with 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years of interest-free payments on the best windows and doors in the business. Don't wait. Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or visit their showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. For quality you can trust and savings you can't miss, that's Pella Windows and Doors.
Catch Gators baseball all season long on 1010XL. Pitched by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. And Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Florida Gators. 1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Yeah, there you go. That'll get you fired up for a little NCAA tournament action. I love the music of the tournament. I love the NBA on NBC music as well. Round Ball Rock, I believe they called it, as was immortalized on Saturday Night Live.
Yes, it was.
With John Tesh and his brother when they had the lyrics to that song that has no lyrics. Was fantastic. I made a reference to somebody was texting me. One of my Sirius XM buddies the other day was texting me, and I said something about somebody. I said, and then they died penniless and insane. and he goes, "You mean like George Washington Carver?" And I'm like, that's why we're friends right there. Mm-hmm. If you don't know that one, kids, go look up the best of Eddie Murphy from back in the day. All right, so we've got the Chubby Madness Bracket Challenge. That may sound weird, but okay. Chubby Madness Bracket Challenge happening over at 1010XL.com. Still time. First place prize is a pair of tickets to go see Welcome to Rockville on the Saturday of Rockville and a Miller Lite prize pack to go along with it. I doubt that includes alcohol, but some other goodies. So 2 tickets to Rockville, very cool. Second place, $100 gift card to Mr. Chubby's. Third place, $50 gift card to Mr. Chubby's. Free to enter. Go to 1010XL.com. And do just that. So we're going to start in the South.
They're giving out beers during the tournament. If you bring your bracket in to Mr. Chubby's and a game goes final that you pick correctly, they'll give you a beer.
A beer for every win.
Yeah.
Is what it is, basically. So, multiple brackets. I'm just saying. Multiple brackets. Hey, I don't know. I'm not getting in the weeds with Mr. Chubby's and all that.
Right.
So, and you know what? Buy plenty of wings to wash them down. Mm-hmm. All right, so we'll start in the South, Tony. If you're looking at your bracket on the page, that's the upper left-hand corner. We're going to go clockwise so we can end up in the West where the Gators are and see how it all goes out. We're going to do first-round upsets, which 2 teams meet to go to the Final Four, who you got in the Final Four. We'll start with the Vegas kid, Dylan Denmark. What do you got there, Dylan?
I have one upset. I have UC San Diego making it to the Sweet 16.
Okay. That's the only first round upset even, though, that you have. Huh?
Yeah, everybody else is the high seed.
Okay, fair enough. Who are your Elite 8 teams there, and who's going to the Final Four?
I have Auburn playing Michigan State, and Michigan State advancing to the Final Four in the South.
All right, Tony Smith.
The minor upset of the 9 over the 8 with Creighton over Louisville. I have my alma mater, Lipscomb, winning a game against Ohio State, but they'll be out before the 16. And I also have New Mexico with the upset over the 7 seed Marquette. My Elite 8 is Michigan State, with Michigan State advancing to the Final Four.
No, we're all going to be Michigan State in the Final Four in this bracket. I've got Creighton as well, although it's not going to upset me if that little cocky point guard gets knocked out in the first round trying to shush St. John's crowd in the Big East Championship. He learned his lesson, I hope. But I do have Creighton advancing in the 8-9 matchup. I have Yale winning not 1 but 2 games, knocking out Michigan and getting to the Sweet 16. Oh, baby. I've got UNC over Ole Miss and then advancing to the Sweet 16 as well. And I've got New Mexico over Marquette in the first round. Auburn, Michigan State in the Final Four. Dylan Denmark in the East Regional.
East, I got 12 seed over the 5 seed Liberty over Oregon. And the rest is chalk.
Okay. And your Elite 8
My
matchup?
Elite 8 is Duke and Alabama, and I have Duke beating Alabama.
All right.
I have Liberty over Oregon in the 12-5 upset there. I have VCU over BYU in the 11-6. And I have Vanderbilt taking out St. Mary's in the 10-7 matchup, but going no further for my Commodores.
All your faves.
In the Elite Eight, I have Duke and Wisconsin, with Duke advancing to the Final Four.
If Liberty can somehow play Vanderbilt here, Tony. So you had Duke over Wisconsin, right? Duke advancing?
Duke, yeah.
All right, I've got upset alert here. By the way, I took Oregon over Liberty because I read a thing about that coach is like never loses in the first round, the Oregon coach.
Yeah, I saw that.
They're almost automatic. So upsets there. I do have VCU like you do over BYU, and I have Vandy over St. Mary's as well. Those are my two upsets in the region
down.
in the first round. I've got Duke over Wisconsin to get to the Final Four as well. For some reason, I didn't write Duke into the Sweet 16. I left it blank. I'm going to fill that in now. I want full credit for that bracket contest, people. All right, so we all have Duke coming out of the East. Dylan in the Midwest.
I have 100% chalk, and I have Houston beating Tennessee.
Okay.
The only upset I have is Xavier over Illinois after their win over Texas last night. My Elite Eight is Houston beating Tennessee.
I have Houston over Tennessee as well. I have McNeese State over Clemson in a 12-5 matchup. And I have Utah State over UCLA in a 10-7 game as well. But Houston over Tennessee. Finally, we come to the West, Mr. Denmark.
Shout out the West Side. Colorado State, 12 seed over 5. Memphis. Colorado State's actually the favorites.
Yes, they are.
So, I don't know if you want to call that an upset.
We are rich in basketball knowledge right now.
100%. And I have Florida beating St. John's.
Florida over St. John's, all right, to get to the Final Four. So only the one first-round upset. Tony.
I went all chalk, all the 8 in there. I have Florida over Texas Tech to get to the Final Four.
Boy, I really thought about I told you, I'm really debating St. John's losing in the second round, right? I watch St. John's more than any other team. But I actually have a decent number of upsets here. I've got Colorado State over Memphis. I've got Drake over Missouri because love the Drake. And I've got Arkansas over Kansas as well. But I sucked it up with the Red Storm. Had them beating Arkansas. Then I had them beating Texas Tech. Thought about Texas Tech getting to the Final Four even. And then I got them beating the Gators, baby, in the Elite Eight, because why the hell not, all right? I'm going to root for it. Might as well pick it.
Sure.
St. John's, Final Four. All right, Dylan, give us your Final Four, your championship game, and your winner, please.
Florida versus Michigan State. I like Florida. And then Duke versus Houston, like Duke. And then I have the Gators beating Duke. Somewhere in the range of like 84-79.
Gator.
Go Gator.
Go Gator.
Duke over Houston for me from the right side of the bracket, and Michigan State over Florida to advance to the final, Duke winning the championship.
All right, just so you know, I'm not a complete homer. Michigan State knocks out St. John's after they make it to the Final Four. Michigan State in the championship game. I've got Houston knocking off Duke, and the Cougs cutting down the Nets 73-69. Very good defensive squad right there. So I went a little bit lower scoring. They played a lot of games in the 60s lately. I know that, Tony. The guy who has a lot of viewing time in this year. I did watch more college basketball this year than I have in many years, but it's only because St. John's was relevant, and that's it. So Houston over Michigan State to win it all. Hick this morning said he thought 80% will pick Florida. I don't know if that's the case here. I would say 80% will have them in the Final Four, but I was actually surprised how many of the big pundits, because there are a few guys I look at their brackets, right? Like Jerry Palm and Gary Parrish and Billis and guys that I know what they're talking about. Doesn't mean I'm going to pick all their picks, but I want to get a sense of, am I crazy to think this team can
know
win?
so little about college basketball. I listen to people who know something about college basketball.
And several of these experts had Florida getting upset along the way. In fact, Maryland's a dangerous team. They're just not deep. If they get in foul trouble, apparently I'm talking like I know any of this, right? But anyway, there you go for what it's worth. And it's probably not worth a whole heck of a lot. We have submitted them. I'm going to make sure I go scramble in there on the break and write Duke into the Sweet 16.
Right, yeah.
Can you imagine? You didn't have them here. Well, how'd they get to the Elite Eight?
Right.
Then?
If they're in the 8, come on.
Yeah, for some reason, I could see, boy, Duke, when they lost Cooper Flagg, they came out, and it was like it kind of energized them almost, and I am interested to watch Cooper Flagg because I probably watch more of him as a high schooler than I have in college because he was such a viral sensation, with what he was able to do. Played up in the state of Maine in high school. And imagine this tone going 30 years ago. Never would have seen a clip of this guy. You had no idea who this Cooper Flagg from Maine. Sure, he put up numbers in Maine, but he's the truth. And, likely the number one pick in next year's or this summer's NBA draft as far as that goes. All right, there you go. Our departure from Jaguar football. It happens from time to time. Once again, I'm going to lay it out there for you because it's getting ready to start. The madness is coming up at the top of the hour. Go to 1010XL.com. The Chubby Madness Bracket Challenge is there for your perusal. Submit your bracket there, and you can win 2 tickets to Welcome to Rockville for the Saturday dates and a Miller Lite prize pack. That's the first place prize. $100 and a $50 gift certificate to Mr. Chubby's for second and third place, respectively. And then today, we got Helmets and Heels coming up at the top of the hour at Hurricane Grill and Wings on Hendricks. So listen in for the ladies there. And then it'll be the gentlemen of XL Prime Time out at Twin Peaks on Atlantic Boulevard, the Frangie Show at the Dart Bar and Games on King Street, and then Baloo and Hacker tonight at Mr. Chubby's Wings, Crystal Springs, and that's I-10 and Chafee.
Indeed.
Hey.
West side.
Only took me, Dylan telling me 4 times for the intersection.
You'll probably forget by noon.
I probably will because I'm not headed that direction this afternoon. I will go home. I will probably watch about 30 minutes of basketball, got to head to the driving range, get my swings in, and get back in that groove. And then it's round ball the rest of the day and all through the weekend. My wife's out of town as well. Not that my wife is very understanding about the sports viewing, and there's more than one television in the house too, by the way, right? But there's something to be said for guilt-free, kicking back, sitting on the bed, watching TV, basketball all day long, debauchery. Love it. All right, we'll come back, take a look at the Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day, asking you between Travis Etienne, Walker Little, Robert Hainsey, and Devin Lloyd, which of those presumptive starters for the Jaguars will start the fewest games this year as we close up shop today and send you into an afternoon of round ball talk and viewing all around the First Coast with the 1010XL crew right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Catch the draft and accelerate to the checkered flag.
To the checkered flag.
This Sunday at Miami. NASCAR is tuned up by Maxie's Mechanics on 1010XL. Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios.
Okay, for this Cannons of Jacksonville commercial, we need an idea to really come out with a bang.
Like having a guy shot out of a cannon.
Nah, too messy. In fact, Cannons is known for all your towing needs.
So like my car won't start.
No. Towing products. Cannons does custom welding fabrication and installation of trailer hitches, goosenecks, tow bars, truck racks.
So you might say Cannons is my best shot at finding that inventory in stock?
Boom. You said it.
Visit cannonsofjacks.com.
Need fresh and flavorful lunch? Chicken Salad Chick has scratch-made Southern-style chicken salad in every bite. It's quick and delicious, so why wait? Come taste the best chicken salad today at Town Center, Durbin Park, or Butler Point at Chicken Salad Chick.
Jacksonville runs on dreams, and Haymaker Coffee is a local brand fueling the next generation. Keep each day strong with a Haymaker. Fuel for the morning hustle, the late night, and every step of the way. Bold flavors for the bold city. Online at haymakercoffeeco.com.
Jaguars Today Thursday is towed by Cannons of Jacksonville for all your towing needs.
Hello, I'm attorney Malcolm Anthony. Being charged with domestic violence can turn your life upside down. If you're in trouble, call me, Malcolm Anthony, at 285-4LAW. That's 285-4LAW.
Hey, gang, Prosser here. We've talked about some of the struggles that you may come across when it comes time to sell your home. We've told you how great Chad and Sandy are at chadandsandy.com. But, you know, they're also great when things are going good and the economy is showing positive signs. Now may be the time to sell your home at the price you want. It's easy to find out. Get friendly expert help from the Jacksonville agents who eat and sleep local real estate. Call my agents, Chad and Sandy Newman, So maybe you want guaranteed no-hassle home sale, but don't want to give up hard-earned equity to do it. Chad and Sandy can do that. Maybe you're worried you won't sell your home for the price you need. Well, let's take care of that right now, because here's the Chad and Sandy guarantee. Your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Jonathan in Mount Pleasant said the only thing standing between me and my dream of traveling in my RV was the sale of my Mount Pleasant home. I heard Chad and Sandy on the radio and called. Crazy results in just 3 days. Multiple offers, full asking price. You can get it too. Call today or go to ChadAndSandy.com.
I'm Max Fink. Join me for the Gator Report on 1010XL as I break down the latest storylines in Gator Nation.
Put together by San Jose Collision on the home of the Florida Gators, 1010XL.
Go, Gators! What is the coldest temperature ever recorded on Earth? The answer next.
There's always a good reason to compare homeowners' insurance rates. You may be paying too much. Protect your home with a Southern Oak insurance policy today.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance. The coldest temperature ever recorded was in Antarctica in July of 1983. An unbelievably cold minus 128.6 degrees.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With AutoPay plus taxes and fees, plus $5 per line without AutoPay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Motorola Edge on us with 24 monthly bill credits and new line for well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 per line connection charge. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Home is where your story begins. And at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to make it the healthiest, most comfortable place it could be. Whether it's fresh, clean air, dependable plumbing, or reliable power, we take care of it all. From routine maintenance to state-of-the-art solutions, Donovan keeps your home running smoothly. Because at Donovan, we believe your home isn't just where you live, it's where your health meets comfort. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing at 904-270-COOL or visit us online. Let's make your home healthier, safer, and better together.
ET here, and spring in Clay County means one thing: the award-winning Clay County Fair. It's more than just rides and a concert, it's an experience. Savor the flavors of classic fair treats, explore family-friendly attractions, and enjoy a perfect mix of small-town charm and big-time fun. Plan your trip with Explore Clay County Tourism and turn your visit into a getaway. Find the best places to stay, eat, and explore at exploreclay.com. And don't forget to share your fair adventures with #ExploreClay.
Every morning that you wake up in a pest-free home is a good morning. And with Florida Pest Control's Pest-Free 365 service, you can. It's more than just a pest control or preventative maintenance plan. It's Florida Pest Control's promise that we'll be there providing pest-free living for your family all year long. And right now, our initial pest service is just $99. To learn more about our Pest-Free 365 service and to schedule your $99 initial pest service, visit flapest.com today.
Hicken here. Beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. This month, get one room Zero Resified starting at $53. Take $100 off your air duct cleaning. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com and tell them 1010XL sent you.
Zero Res. 1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
All right, wrapping things up today on Jaguars Today. Tom McManus in tomorrow, and he kind of tweeted out something that prompted us to go with today's Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day. Asked, assuming they all stay healthy, which one of these presumptive starters will start the fewest games this year for the Jaguars? Travis Etienne, Robert Hainsey, Walker Little, Devin Lloyd. Could have put others in there. Those were the ones we chose to go with. With the nearly 300 votes in, Tony, 41% going Devin Lloyd. Travis Etienne at 38%. That's where I put my vote. I think those are the two best candidates here, clearly. Walker Little getting 11.7% of the vote, and Robert Hainsey getting 8.6% of the vote. So if you haven't cast your ballot, you can easily do that on the X platform at MD_1010XL. We saw John Shipley, good friend of the program from Jaguar Report, tweet out that Mel Kiper had a conference call. They do these pre-draft calls periodically, and you can ask specific questions if you don't have access to Mel on a regular basis. So as Ship wrote on Twitter, no player's been mocked to the Jags more than Mason Graham. So yesterday he asked Kiper about the fit and how he views Graham in a stacked defensive line class. What did he have to say, Tony?
Mel Kiper answered, so I would say for Jacksonville, Mason Smith, they have high hopes for, obviously drafted him in the second round, but that was a big problematic area for Jacksonville was defensive tackle, so I felt like for Mason Graham, it has been a good fit. It is one of those that has been kind of locked in for months. Usually that doesn't work come draft day when you lock someone in every mock. It just doesn't work out that way sometimes. I do think in a pretty crowded defensive tackle group at the top, he has maintained that spot, that number one spot at defensive tackle and held off all the other challengers. So I think he's the guy. If you want an interior disruptor, that is Mason Graham. I think when you look at Mason Graham, that wrestling background, the way he plays with leverage, he gets low man wins. The intensity, as he said, go look at the tape. The eye in the sky never lies. They say sometimes it does, but usually it doesn't. If you watch this kid, the performance level of him each week, I mean, he was popping in those games, and he did it in his whole career. He wasn't just a one-year guy. So I think he is tough to block because he understands. He has violent hands. He understands leverage and technique, and he is slithery. He can get in that backfield and wreak havoc. I think inside pressure affects quarterbacks more than anything.
I won't hate it if it's Mason Graham. Yeah, I will not hate it. Slithery might have been the first time I've heard Mason Graham described as slithery, but I get what he's saying, the ability to slip between tackles or offensive linemen and make tackles and all that. I did find it funny. He said the eye in the sky never lies, and immediately said sometimes it does, but it usually doesn't. All right, so nobody's going to be surprised. I think we're all conditioned if it's going to be Mason Graham. That doesn't mean if they go with a Jalen Walker or somebody like that, it's a bad selection, right? We get so preconceived notions and conditioned by all the pundits out there to this guy, this guy, that
Bosa. Like that was a thing. It was like, I'm tired of mocking Bosa. You know, like we all kind of get to that point in the draft process where it's like, I don't want to talk about that again. But I think it's Mason Graham's the most likely pick. I think for the Jags at 5. I don't think it's a lock it in, write it in ink. This is what they're doing. No doubt they're not going to be looking at anything else. It's not that kind of thing. But I think given the circumstance of where they're at in the draft and the needs they have and the things they haven't addressed in free agency, that Mason Graham, if I was going to bet on it, I would bet that it would be Mason.
Right.
You know,
I wouldn't necessarily take him over the field, but it'd be close.
No, it wouldn't be that kind of thing. But it would be, if I had to pick a player, it would be Mason.
Well, if you told me that Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter were definitely both off the board.
And that's including the likelihood, in my mind, of those guys being off the board in the top 4 picks. Like, I'm almost assuming that they will be. If they're not, then that changes the math a little bit with what to do with the Mason Graham thing. But I think it's very likely those two guys go in the top 4, and that if they do, Mason Graham would be the pick to the Jags.
All right, so somebody asked, what is the likelihood, or is it inconceivable to trade up one spot to 4 if Travis Hunter is there? I don't think it's inconceivable, but you know who has a need at wide receiver? New England has a need at wide receiver as well, and could use a playmaker. We at least have Brian Thomas Jr. here, where you could see, look, and I see what the poll did yesterday, 70-30 in favor of Hunter, but you could even see the Jags going, hey, look, I get it. No trade markets here. We're going Mason Graham because we feel like he's as good a player, fits us better, whatever the case may be.
Yeah. See if they sign Diggs here in the next day or two.
Well, that
may change the arithmetic with it a little bit.
I don't know if
as far as doing it at 4, but yeah.
I don't know if that changes anything. I mean, because Diggs you'd have to think of as a short-term investment.
I would
right?
too. Yeah.
You know, he'll be here for a year, maybe 2 at the max.
I think it's hard for me to get fully behind wide receiver at 5 for the Jags, and I wouldn't be surprised if, given what they did in free agency, if that topped the list, right? Like if you were just going to rank the needs for the team, wide receiver 2 may top the list, right now, but that would still be hard to convince me that 5 is where they got to go to address that. Right now, Jacksonville's in a different position because they're not looking for the 1. New England might be looking for the 1 to top.
I think even if they sign Steph Diggs, they're still looking for the long-term 1.
Right, so it's a bit of a different, arithmetic for what New England would be looking for than Jacksonville. I would be stunned if they wound up with a wide receiver there at 5. Like, it would be stunning.
If it's not Travis Hunter.
Yeah, if they went that direction. Travis Hunter is a different kind of thing.
What if it is, though, what I gave you the scenario to Jamal St, where one quarterback goes, Carter, Hunter, and Graham are the 3 players that are off the board? Then how do you feel about wide receiver at 5?
I think that's where the discussions this week about taking a linebacker that can also play edge really gets interesting to me, right? Because I do think they haven't addressed edge at all, and looking to upgrade the linebacker group and bring in a guy that could be your third edge guy, that would be really intriguing to me if they got stuck in that kind of spot and couldn't move out of it. More so for me personally than it would be Ted McMillan at this point in the process. But the argument between those two thoughts would be a very interesting one. I wish I could be in the room to listen to them go through it.
Well, it's interesting to me, maybe to no one else, but in Chris Trapasso's mock, which again, we ridiculed what he had the Jags doing, trading all their second and third round capital to move up to pick 20 to take the Oregon defensive tackle when it's such a rich position. But yesterday, when we did our 7-round mocks, I had the Jags trading back to 11, picking up the extra pick from San Francisco, and taking Ted McMillan at that spot. That's exactly where he had McMillan going in his mock, but he had him going to San Francisco, which, again, they took Ricky Pearsall in the first round last year, right? They have Juwan Jennings, who's shown he can play at a pretty high level.
Yeah.
Now, Brandon Ayuk's coming off a torn ACL. I get that, but McMillan's nothing at all like the kind of receiver Deebo Samuel is. He's not any kind of replacement for Deebo's role in the offense. That just doesn't seem like a pick that San Fran would make, particularly because it seems like they're going through a soft reboot almost of their franchise. Like, hey, if we can compete with the guys we hang on to this year, fine, but they are trying to do largely what the Jags are doing. Root out the bottom of the roster, get rid of some guys that are being overpaid, even if they're good players, if they're not up to the level of their compensation. And, it's not going to be, well, I'm sure there'll be some, but there'll be a lot of people leaving San Francisco out of the playoff picture in their predictions this year.
For sure, yeah.
Dylan, you say that you have a Vegas-related question for me?
Yeah, the boys in the chat want to ask you.
Okay, I've only been to Vegas once, but go ahead.
Roulette table, red or black?
Oh, black.
All right.
Yeah.
Boys told me to go opposite. They told me to fade you. So
all right. Well, I mean, look, I'm just going with what Wesley Snipes said, right? Didn't he say always bet black?
He did.
Right? Well, it just seems like the thing to do. I don't know. So go ahead, bet red. I'm sure
red doesn't have a clever little rhyming thing.
No.
Yeah.
Better dead than red. That's going back a ways. That was a real thing, Dylan.
It was.
Yeah, I just see the ads better left red than dead. We're talking about texting and driving.
Oh, okay.
That's an ad that
By the way, speaking of driving, right? Spoiler alert coming up, okay, for those who like true crime kind of stuff. So I've given you a spoiler alert now. I'm about to spoil something that I just watched on television. So spoiler alert. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Say that 3 times fast. I can't. But I told you I was watching that Karen Reed documentary last night.
And you were both ways every time something would happen.
I'm telling you, it was one of those tones. Usually, I by a certain point, sometimes you watch, you think it's going a certain way, and at the end, it's like, oh, and it just flips the other direction, right? But this one was every 5 minutes I'm going back and forth like she's guilty as hell. Oh, she is being framed or she's innocent or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And the whole thing came down. Here we go. Spoiler alert. Final verdict. Hung jury.
So you would have been right at home.
Right.
You would have been in the room going, I don't know.
I still don't know. Lucky the snowplow driver was her best witness, apparently. It's true story. Lucky the snowplow driver.
I love that they made a show where the whole time you're going, I don't know which way this is going to go. And then the jury did the same thing.
The one on Netflix, it's called, I think, An American Nightmare. Have you heard of this one?
Yeah.
Right? where
It's fantastic.
Oh my gosh, is it fantastic, right?
Where no one
believes the guy, right? And I mean, that's just, you find pretty early on, you figure out that the reason they made a documentary out of this is because this guy's wife gets kidnapped and he's telling the police what happened. The police are like, no, that didn't happen.
No.
Like, they don't believe him at all. They're 100% convinced that this dude kidnapped his wife or killed his wife and came up with this cockamamie story.
Yeah, and then she gets released by the kidnapper.
Oh, you're spoiler alerting, Tony, or you need to be. But yes, An American Nightmare is phenomenal. But watch basketball today, right? I mean, be an American.
Save it for...
My American Nightmare is Houston getting knocked out in the fourth game of the day.
Yeah.
That's my American Nightmare after I picked them to win the whole thing here. I don't think that they're going to have too many problems with it. I don't even know who the heck they're playing. But
SIU Edwardsville.
What does SIU stand for? Southern Illinois University Edwardsville? Could that be? Because Southern Illinois is the Salukis, but there's some kind of like a cougar or something, it looks like. And they are the Cougars. Southern Illinois Edwards, though, is what it is. So it's like a different branch of the whole thing, right? It's like you got like Cal State Bakersfield, Cal State Fullerton, Cal State whatever. There's too many of them to keep track of. All right. Not too many of the helmets and heels to keep track of, and you can track them at Hurricane Grill and Wings at Hendricks Avenue, where they are standing by to join us right now.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated near your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
LB, Lauren Brooks, out at Hurricane Grill and Wings. Hello, Lauren. How are you?
We are fantastic, thanks. And yes, it is such a gorgeous day, and we're out here on the patio at Hurricanes in San Marcos. So come and hang out with us out here. And I've heard you guys discussing your bracket. How much time did you spend, Mike Dempsey, on your bracket?
How long does it take to write down 63 names?
Oh, you don't do electronically?
No, I did.
That takes so much more time if you do it by hand.
But then you got to print it out. You say the whole thing. I grab a bracket. I go through it. No,
I'm just kidding.
I wrote it down. Took me 5 minutes. Okay, that's the amount of thought I put into it. One of Dylan's friends in his Vegas group chat called me a communist. Probably because I didn't pick Florida to win. Like, I don't.
And you're sitting here supporting St. John's.
All right,
it's all red.
My team.
It's
Come
all
on.
red.
I'm a commie. Right? I get it. That's fine. And then they asked Dylan to ask me what they should bet on the roulette wheel because they want to fade my prediction. So I said you always bet black, and so they're going to go red because Denmark's heading out to Vegas later on today. So
yeah, I'm excited for them. I know all about the bachelor party, and certainly we stayed at Circa Resort and Casino, and I told Dylan it's called a Cabana at Stadium Swim. That's where they'll be. They've got that reserved, and it is an absolutely spectacular place. They've got DJs out there, obviously drinks and food and all the things, and Circa's conveniently located on Fremont Street. It's going to be so much fun. I'm excited for them.
All right, LB, I know you'll be unveiling whatever you haven't unveiled yet, but enjoy all the competition today. It's always fun and going to be a great crowd out there, I imagine, already, I would presume, out at the Hurricane Grill and Wings.
Yes, well, like Rory McIlroy said, nobody works in Jacksonville, so come and hang out with us, and right off the rip, we will chat with Kevin Connors at ESPN, talk all things hoops.
Amen to that. All right, have a great show out there, and enjoy the first day of the tournament.
Thanks so much. Y'all enjoy it as well.
All right, there she goes, Lauren Brooks. We'll be handing it off momentarily. Dylan Denmark, safe travels out there. I had something else snarky to say to you, but I can't remember what it is now, so I'll let it slide. But good luck. Again, don't get arrested, and and just come back alive and in one piece. And
that's the plan.
No dead bodies, anything like that. Don't.
It is cool that you get to go do Vegas for the first time, and it happens to be during Madness.
Absolutely,
that's awesome.
Oh, I know what it was. Are you sure there's a bachelor party, or is this a catfish reunion special?
I don't know. The boys said it's a bachelor party, so I'm going with bachelor party.
All right. Just possible. I'm a big fan of catfish. Either way.
Dylan just said he might be getting catfish.
Yeah. It's true, right? Like, you might get out there and you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, he at least left the door open.
You haven't been talking with anybody online for the last, 6 months or so, have you?
Look, all I know is I got a flight to Vegas tonight and I come back Sunday. So I got 48 hours to do whatever. And I don't know what the plan is for anything. So Anything can happen.
That's a good way to be. Just throw a few things in your carry-on and get the heck out of Dodge. Safe travels. We'll see you back here Monday.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
All right, bro. There goes Dylan Denmark. Brah. It's kind of brah.
Little twin.
My twin. Thank you to Jamal St. for joining us on the program today. ET will be producing tomorrow. Tommy Mack will be in studio. We'll have a whole bunch of fun. Good luck with your NCAA tournament brackets. For Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark, I'm Mike Dempsey. This has been Jaguars Today on 1010XL.